to Indian Weekenders coverage of IPL 2022. My name is Rahul Patil, and as always, I'll be bringing you highlights of Week 5 this time. As we move towards the business end of the tournament, things have started to really get interesting in the IPL. So let's begin and have a look at all that transpired last week. Like we did last week, this week too, we are going to kick off with the Mumbai Indians. Now remember, I said last week that Mumbai had lost all 6 of their encounters this year's tournament. This week, Mumbai played 2 more games, and guess what? Last week they were 6-0. This week they are 8-0. They lost both their games once again. The story repeated itself. The batsmen just didn't get enough runs in both the games. The bowlers tried their best, but because of the lack of runs from the batters, Mumbai ended up on the losing side once again. Mumbai's season this year is now over. What they need to focus on now is to give as many youngsters a chance as they can so that they try and build a team for 2023. Give all your experienced batters a rest. Rohit Sharma can be rested, probably even Jasprit Bumrah can be rested, but get some new blood in and test the waters and see how good they are and build a team for 2023. The next highlight for me this week was the performance of Mahendra Singh Dhoni. Yes, you heard it right, Mahendra Singh Dhoni. He is still playing and still performing. Now Dhoni is 40 plus. He's actually older than I am. He announced his international retirement 2 years back and he only plays in the IPL now. Does not play domestic cricket of any format. His last international game for India was the 2019 World Cup in England that India lost in the semi-finals to New Zealand too. So all in all, Dhoni basically does not have a lot of cricket under his belt, but yet last week in both games he showed such form that it put a lot of youngsters to shame. It is a testament to this man's fitness and his mental capability that he can just turn up to games and start scoring runs. In the game against Mumbai, he single-handedly took Chennai to victory. They needed 16 of the last 4 balls, and Dhoni, the 20th over champion, scored all of those runs with ease and won yet another game for his side. He is just a phenomenal individual. We are very privileged to see him play for as long as we have. Long may it last, and as fans, all we need to do is just hope that he can churn out these performances again and again for us so that we can enjoy them while it lasts. The next thing that we're going to talk about this week was a bit of a low light. Yes, wasn't a highlight, was a bit of a low light, and it should never happen on a cricket field again, in my opinion. The game against Delhi and the Rajasthan Royals, Delhi required 36 to win of the last 6 balls of the game. Rahul Powell, the West Indian big hitter, was on strike and he hit the first 3 balls of the last over the boundary for 6s, which means the equation now was 18 of 3 balls. The only problem was the third of those 6s was a full toss which was around waist high. The Delhi team and the Delhi dugout thought that it was a no ball, and they were not happy that the on-field umpire did not call it a no ball. They were wanting the on-field umpire to consult with the third umpire. Now, the rules of the game are pretty straightforward that unless a batsman gets out of a waist-high full toss, the umpires cannot check with the third umpire whether it's a no ball or not. The decision in this case rested with the on-field umpires and they made the right call based on their judgment that it wasn't a no ball. The replay showed it to be a really marginal call. It could go either way depending on which side you support. But Delhi were not happy. Rishabh Pant was asking his batsmen to leave the field of play and come back to the dugout. Praveen Amre, the assistant coach of Delhi, then went onto the playing field and started arguing the point with the umpires. I mean, these were really, really ugly scenes that should never ever happen on a cricket field again. Thankfully, some cool heads calmed the situation down, the game carried on, it finished, and at the end of the game it was good to see Pant acknowledging the fact that it wasn't the best thing to be seen on a cricket field. I hope such things never happen again, and maybe there is a case for the ICC to relook into their rules and just see if there is anything that can be done so that such controversies are not repeated in the future. The next highlight of the week were the two Centurions that we had this week. Now, both of them were repeat Centurions. So, first of all, we had Jos Buttler, who scored not his first, not his second, but his third 100 of this year's IPL. Buttler is in phenomenal form. Every time he comes to the crease, he just looks like he's going to get more and more and more runs. I think it stems from the fact that he's in a very, very happy space with the Rajasthan Royals. He obviously loves playing for them, and they obviously have made him so comfortable in their team environment that his mind is free of any ambiguity. So whenever he goes out to play, he plays with a clear free mind, and a clear free mind normally ends up in the currency of runs for a batsman. Second Centurion of the week, KL Rahul, our very own KL Rahul, scored his second 100 of this year's tournament. Again, like Buttler, he's playing some of his best cricket at the IPL. He's always been a consistent performer in the IPL format, but it's good to see him amongst the runs because he had a bit of a slow start to the tournament, but second 100 of the tournament, second on the leaderboard as far as top run scorers are concerned. He's in great space. Good news for Team India. Next highlight for me last week was the performance of Riyan Parag. Now, Riyan Parag played under 19 cricket for India. He was part of a under 19 World Cup winning team in New Zealand about 4 years back. Since then, he has been playing in the IPL, but he had not had a breakthrough performance or a breakthrough year in the IPL as of yet. Every media outlet, and when I say media outlet, including myself, I'm going to include myself in that and put my hand up and say that I also questioned as to why the Rajasthan Royals invested so much of their time and money into him. What did they see in him that we couldn't? But as they say, Riyan Parag let his bat do the talking this week. He came into bat for the Royals when they were in a very precarious situation, and he got them out of it. He got them to a decent score. It resulted in a Royals victory, and finally all of us have been silenced because we now know what Rajasthan Royals saw in him and why they backed him to the hilt for all these years. He has finally performed. Long may it continue. As media people, when we do question somebody's performance, it comes from a good place. So I'm very happy for him. Long may it continue, and long may the legend of Riyan Parag live on. Last but not the least, we are going to talk about the game of the week, and it was between table toppers, the Gujarat Titans and the Sunrisers Hyderabad. Now, before this game, Gujarat had only lost one of their 7 games, and Sunrisers, after losing their first 2 games, had won 5 in a row. So both of the teams were in form, and it was going to be a mouth-watering contest. And boy, did it live up to that. I mean, Sunrisers batted first, scored 196 in their 20 overs. We saw some fantastic hitting and some fantastic batting from all their batters. And all of us thought that they actually had enough runs on the board. But it's not done until it's actually done, because Gujarat came out all guns blazing and actually scored those runs. They got to that total of the very, very last delivery of the 20th over. And what a nail-biting finish it was. Again, the men to do it for them, Rahul, finisher, Tewatia. Once again, this man just seems to find ways to win games for his side. And his partner in crime this time was Rashid Khan. Now, Rashid Khan is a phenomenal cricketer. There is nothing this man cannot do on a cricket field. Both of them put together a partnership, took the side home. They needed 22 of the last over. Yeah, heard that right. 22 from the last over, and between the two of them, they managed to smash 4 sixes to take the Gujarat Titans home. Rashid Khan hitting the last ball for a six to seal the victory. Now, in all this chaos and happening and mind-blowing cricket that was going all around, spare a thought for young Umran Malik playing for the Sunrisers Hyderabad. He got a 5-wicket haul in this game. I mean, how many times does it happen that your side scores 196, you get a 5-wicket haul for only 25 runs? Now remember, the rest of the bowlers in this match went for plenty. Both sides scored at about 10 runs and over. And Umran Malik bowls his 4 overs for just 25 runs and picks up 5 wickets. I mean, that is just a phenomenal performance. And how many times do you end up on the losing side after putting in a performance like that? But this time it did. So everybody was heartbroken for poor Umran Malik. But he bowled with pace, he bowled with passion, and he bowled with accuracy. And it is so heartening to see. This boy, his legend is growing by the day. He seems to be learning the craft and getting better at it day by day. It looks as if we might just have India's next fast bowler ready in the ranks. But hey, let's give it some time. Let's not get too excited and ahead of ourselves. But all in all, a phenomenal game of cricket. If you haven't watched it, go watch the highlight. It is absolutely stunning. A quick look at the points table this week shows that the Gujarat Titans still maintain their lead at the top of the table. They've won 7 out of the 8 games, so with 14 points, they lead the points table. Next in line are the Rajasthan Royals, who won 6 out of the 8 games, which means with 12 points, they're in second place. Sunrisers Hyderabad and Lucknow Super Giants both have 5 wins from 8 games, so with 10 points, they are in respective 3rd and 4th places. As I mentioned earlier, Mumbai's tournament is over. Chennai also is a very improbable chance of making it to the playoffs, which means those 2 teams are at the bottom of the table right now. So you've got 4 at the top, 2 at the bottom that are not going to probably make it. The only ones that are going to have and fight for those playoffs places: Royal Challengers Bangalore, Punjab Kings, Delhi Capitals and Kolkata Knight Riders. Well, that's all from me for this week. I hope you enjoyed our highlight session. Please, if you did like it, press the like button, share it with your friends and family, and please subscribe to the Indian Weekender. Until next week, take care and I'll see you next time.